My friends and I used to have a paranormal research group. We had heard stories of an old abandoned graveyard. It was on a hill overlooking the Pee Dee River in Mechanicsville, South Carolina. It had been owned by a church that later burned down and was relocated. Most of the graves were sunken and most of the tombstones were broken or gone outright. They placed a huge group marker with the names of the known burials on it. The story said that it was haunted by the spirit of a young child in antebellum clothes, and a black shadow with red eyes tied to a story about a man who brought his victims to the graveyard, because it was so remote to kill them. We were excited to be there. When we arrived, the first thing we noticed, it was pitch black there. It was so dark you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. My friend's girlfriend refused to leave the car. It was because the graveyard was so grown over with forest that it blocked all star and moonlight. Our flashlights didn't even make a dent. It was a hot, muggy night, but when you entered the graveyard, the whole thing was in a massive cold spot. My friend and I got goosebumps from the cold and fear. The temp was 85 degrees, but inside our thermometers read 62. There was a feeling of dread around the place, like something there didn't want us there. My friend said he could feel the place's anger. An anger that makes sense when you consider all the vandalism. Then when our group entered, the air felt thick, like it was resisting you and pushed you back. It was harder and harder to walk the further you went in. Someone compared it to walking on marshmallows too, as the ground seemed to grip our feet as we tried to proceed. Finally there was a sound like something rushing toward us, and we saw what looked like a black shadow with red eyes moving toward us. We all froze up at first. Then as the shadow seemed to grow in size, radiating a dark anger, we ran out of there. Then it was like the trees themselves were against us. It felt like they closed in and gripped at our clothes, holding on as we tried to leave. We finally made it out, and when we went to leave, one of the car's batteries was dead, though it was only months old, like something had drained it. We called a local tow truck, but the driver refused to go until morning, because he said it was evil and haunted at night. We got pictures with so many orbs and shadows. One picture even showed moss that looked like a man shape hanging from a tree. We also got apps full of what sounded like angry whispers. It was the scariest paranormal investigation I had ever been on. We never did go back.